What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Epic Variant Reviews on BlackTideTV. Today we're taking a look at the KBS Longbow Big Brother, the original epic variant for the KBS Longbow here in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now, if the shorter than average length of this video isn't indicative enough, I don't have much to say about this variant. It's a very underwhelming variant. It's not bad by any means, and I would certainly use it if I got it out of a supply drop like I did. But I would not be purchasing this weapon with my salvage, and I will be explaining that throughout the review. I'm just warning you that this will not be a super long review, and I'm not even going to use the entire length of the video clip. I'll actually have an announcement about this series towards the end of the video, so if you are a fan of the series, I advise you stick around till then. If not, if you go on to enjoy the review and leave before my end card, definitely make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys on a later epic variant review. Now, jumping directly into a review of the KBS Longbow Big Brother, I'll be starting with aesthetic, or what the weapon actually looks like, because if you haven't yet noticed from the gameplay being shown, the epic KBS Longbow Big Brother looks drastically different from the base KBS Longbow, which is to be expected. Most of the epic weapons do change in some aspects. The first of which being the barrel of this weapon. It looks like there's a long circular muzzled, almost suppressor-like barrel to the end of this weapon. When I first saw this weapon in the beta, I was looking through the menus and I saw this and I'm like, oh my god, there's a built-in suppressor that they don't say anything about in the menu system. Trust me, it's not a built-in suppressor. It looks a lot like a suppressor, and you can still put a suppressor on this weapon, and it's actually an attachment that I might recommend later in the attachment section of this video. But it's definitely not a suppressor. This is a very loud weapon. It's just as loud as the standard KBS Longbow. Another fairly obvious aesthetical change from the base variant to the epic variant of this weapon is the weapon's scope. You can see this in the menu system and in first person when you're holding the weapon in-game. The scope is shorter and wider. It doesn't really impact your sniping experience. It won't really affect you unless it's like a placebo effect. Maybe you'll pick up this weapon and find that, oh yeah, I'm doing way better with this weapon. It really doesn't change anything. It doesn't change how fast you aim down sights. It doesn't change anything like that. It just looks a little bit different. The reticle itself when you aim down sights is no different. It's the same default reticle, but it is worth pointing out that the scope of the KBS Longbow Big Brother is slightly different than that of its base counterpart. The last change that has been made to this weapon from base to epic as far as aesthetics go is the camouflage pattern itself. The standard KBS Longbow doesn't feature a camouflage pattern. The Big Brother features a brown, dark brown, and tan Marpat camouflage, which won't make a big difference to most of you as most players run a camouflage pattern on top of their weapon. But for you purists, I would say that this camouflage is slightly better than the standard camouflage or standard look of the base KBS Longbow. And with that, I do believe it's time that we discuss weapon traits and how this weapon has changed statistically from the base variant. So I'll throw the card up on the screen so you guys can follow along as we discuss these weapon traits. First up, we have the epic trait awareness, which allows you to keep your minimap active while you're scoped in. And for our common trait, we have stockpile, which increases your ammo and stacks with extended mags. Now, awareness first, because it's pretty easy to knock this trait out of the park. Awareness, minimap stays active while you're scoped. If you didn't know, snipers in this game have a massive penalty when aiming down sights. Something that hasn't been featured in a lot of other Call of Duty games. I believe this was actually the first Call of Duty game to implement this, but when you aim down your sights with a sniper rifle, your minimap will disappear. On this weapon, that could not be farther from the truth. This is the only sniper in the game where you can aim down your sights and the minimap will still be active, giving you a better sense of environment. You know who's around you. If you're going on a feed, you need to be able to see where the next enemy is coming. You need to be able to know where you need to put your scope next. If you see somebody coming up behind you, if you're a hard scoper or a classic sniper, you're sitting at the back of the map, you're aiming down your sights, waiting for somebody to come through a door, you're waiting for someone to enter your lane, you can still see the minimap and you can see if there are any enemies flanking you and trying to get you from behind. Before we get into recommendations, I'd like to tackle this common trait stockpile, which gives you increased ammunition. Generally, this is a pretty great trait to have on most of your weapons, as it doesn't just increase your overall ammunition, but it actually increases the size of your magazine. The thing is, it goes by percentage. It increases a certain percent per weapon. And because the sniper rifles already have such a small magazine, that percent is so tiny that it barely makes a difference. Instead of having 6 bullets in the magazine and 12 in reserve at spawn, you will now have 7 bullets in the magazine and 14 in reserve. It's really not that big of a difference, and this trait can more or less be thrown in the garbage. 1 extra bullet won't make or break this weapon. It could have been left off. They could have had something better in this section, but they put it on, and you're just going to have to roll with it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It's an extra bullet. In the end, guys, I would recommend the KBS Longbow Big Brother for anyone that plans to spend an extended amount of time aiming down sights with their sniper rifle. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, well, it's a sniper rifle, I'm obviously going to aim down. I get it, but this is more of like a hard scoping sniper rifle, and really, even then, there are better sniper rifles in this game. There are better KBS Longbows in this game. Aggressive snipers won't find this to be as useful as the Harbinger, the Bombshell's even better, and the Fortune, the Affliction. All of these are KBS Longbow variants that will do you a bigger solid than the KBS Longbow Big Brother. This weapon, I would totally use it if I got it out of a supply drop and I didn't have any other KBS Longbow, but all of these other sniper rifles will do you better than this one. If you do end up running the KBS Longbow Big Brother, I would recommend anything radar based for your class build. So anything that puts enemies on the radar or keeps you off the radar. So suppressor, recon, engineer, warfighter's ping, UAV, counter UAV, advanced UAV, things like that. Now for my short little EVR series update, you may have noticed that I haven't refreshed the Epic Variant Review Twitter polls on my Twitter page at BlackTideTV in a while. That's still linked in the description. I just haven't refreshed the polls, and that is simply because I don't want to have a repeat of what happened last Wednesday, where I needed gameplay to post a video, but I was so far behind on my gameplay that I couldn't get the video out in time, and instead I had to skip a day of Epic Variant Reviews. So if you didn't know, I use most of the gameplay on this series from Renman's account because he has a lot of the variants that I don't, so I go over to his account and I grind and I get the gameplays, but I can't be doing that and keeping up with the demand for what variants you guys want to see. So I'll be grinding out as many epic variants as I have on my account over the next couple days, and I'll be posting all of the variants that I have. After I get all caught up, I'll be going back and giving you guys the Epic Variant Review Twitter polls again, so stay tuned for those in the future, but for now, we're rolling with the punches. I gotta do the variants that I personally have, but that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.